wrestling fans. Welcome to One Winged Wrestling, where we help you navigate the complex world of pro wrestling, bringing you the best matches, dare we say the elite matches, world-class wrestlers, and news you can count on. At One Winged Wrestling, we bring the elite to you. I am your host today, Mr. Bill Cutbush. Krishna Dhanai has been held up. Where, you might say? At work. Do you know why he's held up at work? I'm going to tell you a little story. His boss must hate wrestling, because his boss keeps scheduling work meetings right across our podcast recording time. So, and the problem is Krishna doesn't turn to his boss and say, "Hey, buddy, I got a wrestling podcast to do. Can you not schedule this meeting, or I'm just not going to show up? So take your meeting and shove it where the sun don't shine, buddy." I don't know why he doesn't say that to his boss. It boggles my imagination. So anyway, I am here by myself. Krishna was delayed, but will show up eventually to relieve you all from the suffering of listening to me talk solo. Cool. Anyway, today's Monday, so this is where we do our One Winged Wrestling weekly broadcast. We're going to talk about some news. We're going to talk about our elite matches, our recommendations, our match of the week, our wrestler of the week, and that kind of stuff. Today, too, I have a segment, assuming the man shows up, I have a segment called Questions for Krishna. I have questions, and I want his reaction. So
can I ask a question? Does that question start with a KW? Is it like questions for Krishna? Is that
where the hell did you come from?
I'm here, everyone. I escaped the chokehold that I was put in by my boss. I've been watching a lot of wrestling, as you guys probably know, so I'm slowly learning. So he tried to put me in a chokehold, but I immediately got out of it. And then I gave him I started with a V trigger, obviously, then One Wing Angel, and now I'm here.
That's good. That's good. Because I'm a little sick of your boss scheduling meetings over top of our podcast. Okay. I was just telling everyone how you need to stand up to that man.
I agree. That's what I did. That's why he got the One Wing Angel. Hey, listen, if you tell a person once, you give them the benefit of the doubt. But then when they do it again, you got a One Wing Angel them, right?
That's right. So here you are. So why don't we get this show underway with some news? That's good, because now they don't just have to listen to me talk about things. So, well, as you all know, last week we mentioned, as part of our Dynamite review, Katsuyori Shibata showed up on Dynamite and challenged Orange Cassidy to a match on Rampage. And, we had mentioned that Katsuyori Shibata hadn't wrestled in a bit, and that, he was the trainer at the LA Dojo. But I wanted to give you a little more background into Katsuyori Shibata showing up on Dynamite and then wrestling on Rampage. So you may have noticed in the commentary that they quickly mentioned he had a head injury in a match in 2017. That really doesn't begin to tell you the half of it. That kind of glossed over a lot that happened. And I wanted to go into a little bit more detail. So, the history of how this match happened and the way it was wrestled might make some sense. Did you see the match, Krishna, the Rampage match?
I did. Yes, I did.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll talk about the match after this too. So he suffered a head injury in a match in 2017. He basically finished the match completely, right? Because he is one of those old school guys, got to finish the match, right? And then he collapsed backstage. He had a subdural hematoma, which was caused by using the headbutt as a signature move. Most of my information here comes from Dave Meltzer. According to Meltzer, they basically had to remove his brain and put it back in again. He suffered some paralysis on the right side of his body after the surgery. The New Japan doctors said it would be impossible to ever clear him again. That August, he came in front of a New Japan crowd, some of whom were in tears seeing him come back, and he simply said, "I'm alive. That is all." And he left. The following year, he started as the coach of the LA Dojo. On October 21st, 2021, he did an unannounced 5-minute grappling exhibition in the ring with Zack Sabre Jr. He said then he felt good and wanted to do a regular match. So at Wrestle Kingdom 16, he was in a teacher versus pupil match, Shibata versus Ren Narita. Okay. This was supposed to be a grappling match, just grappling. But once they got there, they did a full-out wrestling match. This ticked off New Japan because, they're kind of responsible for his
libel. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And it's highly likely he wasn't going to be allowed to wrestle again in a New Japan ring, at least in the foreseeable future. So now here we are. I guess the real question is, why did something like this? I, I hesitate to use the word epic, almost like it is epic that Katsuyori Shibata is in an AEW ring and wrestling, but on Rampage, where
Yeah.
almost no one has a clue who Shibata is
Mhm.
or what the story is, and they were told so little of it on commentary. I mean, the match, I watched it. It was good. I didn't hate it. It was good. It had some real Japanese wrestling style spots in it. Orange Cassidy was being so careful with him, and you could see he was being so careful with him, which, that's good. I'm hoping that when he has his match against Bryan Danielson, I'm sure Danielson will be just as careful with him. So, anyway, I question, you know, are the AEW doctors like super doctors? Because they seem to be clearing
Everybody's
everybody
cleared.
to wrestle
Yeah.
for the company. And I have this terrible feeling that someday that's going to come back and bite them in the ass. I mean, what do you think of the situation and what did you think of the match?
So, AEW tried their best during commentary because, Mike Tyson commentated during this match, and he was actually oddly trying to give a lot of attention to Shibata, right? And I give him a little bit of credit because he was actually, even though he was cheering on Orange Cassidy, he was kind of every time Shibata would take a bump, he almost wince at that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I looked it up as well, like what had happened to him. And in terms of the match, you're right. I do see some things they did carefully, but some things were not. I was like, at one point when Cassidy, I think, did was it a backbreaker? What did he do to him? It looked like Shibata hit his head on his back of his head, but then he rolled up, and I'm like, what is happening right now? Like it's going so fast. So I actually really enjoyed this match. I very much enjoyed this match because it was a mix of, like, you're right, the hard style of New Japan, like the Japanese hard style wrestling, versus Orange Cassidy, right? And Orange Cassidy doing this because he was trying to hit hard like that, but we're the one spot where Shibata just sat up and Cassidy just kept kicking him and kicking him,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, he crapped. I was like, okay. Okay, so are they trying to show that he's better, or what are they trying to do? And now I really enjoyed the match. In terms of what's happening, I don't know. Like, everyone is getting cleared, right?
Mm-hmm.
Danielson cleared, Page, Saraya cleared. We're assuming cleared. Now Shibata cleared. You're right. Is it that they're super doctors, or they are willing to take the risk, whereas WWE or New Japan wouldn't, right?
Right.
Do you gotta remember where, like, remember Edge, for example? Edge retired
Mm-hmm.
10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah, something like
And he
that.
said, the good news is he's like, I'm not going to end up in a wheelchair. So how
Right.
did it go from not ending up in a wheelchair to coming back to wrestle
Oh,
and taking those bumps again?
I mean, maybe advances in medicine, right? I mean, it's
Maybe.
it's
Yeah.
it's possible. Because think about it this way, though. I mean, here I just a devil's advocate argument struck me
Hmm.
as I was listening to you. Adam Cole,
Yeah.
4 months on the shelf with a concussion,
With,
right
with
there.
with a concussion that no one really saw to seem that serious, but
Right,
he's
and
on the shelf for 4 months.
right, and they're clearly not rushing him back.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't rush
Mm-hmm.
Kenny back. They didn't
Nope.
rush
Nope.
like these are some top stars, and
Yeah.
they're not rushing them back from injury.
Hangman Page is not coming is apparently
Right.
not coming back anytime soon. So
Right, exactly. Well, I mean, apparently his move was stolen by like some jackwad in Saudi Arabia on the weekend too. So, and that's the only way I'll refer to that person is, that jackwad. So anyway, I know he's glowing. He's so good in the ring. Blah, blah. Did you guys even watch Battle Autumn? Anyway, okay. Sorry, I will not get on my. I don't want to sound so negative. I'm gonna try to be more positive today. I'm gonna have a
your
positive.
your your Uncle Dave really liked him in that match, by the
I
way.
know, I know. Uncle Dave really did
and
like him,
and
and I just
I'm
listened to
gonna
it politely, going, "That's okay, Uncle Dave. You're
I'm
obligated to watch these shows."
I'm going to just make a quick comment on that. My friend's kids are really into wrestling, and he actually subscribes to that network. So he invited me over on Saturday. We watched it. You know what? Um, Uncle Dave, like, I get it where he's coming from. I'm not going to comment on it. I'm just to say he's not totally wrong. he's not totally wrong.
So I would just like to point out that your friends are not actually fans of wrestling. They are fans of sports entertainment.
They're really the kids are really in love with the sports entertainment,
right?
Whereas my friend actually records AEW and watches it as well. So
Yes.
and he also says that Kenny Omega is the wrestling god. So that's all I need to know. So
yeah, I don't know. There's a certain empire that may be dethroning him, but anyway. Anyway, to
no.
return to the topic at hand, yeah, so Adam Page will not be returning anytime
No.
soon. That's where we got off on that
That's where we
lovely
left.
tangent, delving into the kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Anyway, yeah, so no, I think that AEW actually seems to be careful. So is it just that New Japan is a much more careful company and they're not willing to take the liability and they're kind of mad at him for kind of going against what they asked him to do in the first place? So AEW's just
Maybe.
saying, yeah, we'll let him wrestle. That's fine. And it's not like he's asking to wrestle someone like, oh, I don't know. I can't even give a good. He's not asking to wrestle like Tony Storm. So, I mean, I'm sure he'll be taken good care of in the match. So
Fair enough. Yeah, and also, I mean, again, you're right. There's no way. Like, if you're a doctor clearing this, first of all, you can get in a lot of trouble if you misdiagnose and stuff like that. Because hey, we saw what happened with the misdiagnosed staph infections and stuff like that from WWE, right? So this is not like, hey, oops, I made a mistake. No, that doesn't hold up in court. So let's just remember that
Yes.
that AEW, they're smart. They have doctors who, you have to remember, they have doctors who work for the NFL as well.
Yes,
right?
That's quite true. That's a very good point, and they probably have access to,
A lot.
dare we say, better medicine
Mhm.
technology than some other wrestling companies as a result. I never even thought of that.
Yeah. So you got to remember that Tony Khan made his point that he has a lot of money, eh? So he's using it. And remember, AEW, one of the only companies that pays for their wrestlers' medical bills. So we have to remember that as well. So
yes. Yeah, absolutely. Very good point. So, yes. Though, to segue somewhat into your previous comment, if you guys had, instead of watching Crown Jewel, decided to watch just a few hours earlier Battle Autumn 2022, then you would have seen what I would say has been one of the best shows out of any company that I've watched all year.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, I watched it. Remember, I said, "Oh, I'm not so sure about some of these matches." I watched it from start to finish, the whole thing. I'm going to give you a quick rundown,
Okay.
not blow by blow like we do with Dynamite, but a quick rundown of the matches and let you know what I think people should watch. I may have a couple questions for you or comments for you as we go. This was the culmination. For those of you who don't know about how New Japan does these things, they do these tours. So they'll have a bunch of shows called something like Battle Autumn, right? There'll be a series of shows, and these shows build up to the end of the tour, which in this case was in Osaka. And that's sort of like the pay-per-view at the end of the tour. So that's what this kind of was. The November 5th show was like the big tour culmination. And so we got, opening it up, we got Bushi and Titan from Los Gobernables de Hipon versus TJP and Akira for the United Empire for the IWGP Junior Tag Team Championship, which is basically the Krishna belts for the tag teams. And all four of these guys are great. Titan, you would love Titan. When you get to see Titan, you'll be like, this guy's awesome.
Titan.
Yes. The United Empire won this match, retaining their titles with the Leaning Tower. So they'll probably be defending those titles at Wrestle Kingdom. I would recommend this match that you go out and find it, because if you like lucha things, there are so many good double team moves in this, fast, good counters, good escapes. It was really, honestly, Krishna, it's your kind of match. If you'd watched this, you would have gone, this was good. I enjoyed this. And that just opened the show. What's cool about this show? Every match was different. There was nothing that was the same, and everyone came to wrestle, and it was pretty great. I mean, next up, we had like an 8-way, right? Aaron Hanare, Kyle Fletcher, Mark Davis, and Gideon Gray, all of them from the United Empire. Gideon Gray's like their manager money guy, but he was wrestling in this match too, against Hiroshi Tanahashi, Toru Yano, David Finlay, and the Sauce, Alex Zane. Alex Zane, by the way, he's a Western wrestler. He's got like pink hair and has kind of a cool attitude in the ring. but he was on NXT like for a very brief time. I don't even know who he was. This is like NXT 2.0 or something. I don't know, but he was there very briefly, but he's very good. Um, there was a lot of talk in this match about Aussie Open going hard in the World Tag League for a shot at FTR. I have a feeling that's your Wrestle Kingdom match. I have a feeling that FTR is going to, and we'll talk more about the Tag League later, but FTR versus Aussie Open, the rematch, that's your Wrestle Kingdom event for those belts. And it would not surprise me if Aussie Open wins that match.
Yeah, I think so.
Aussie Open won this match using their finisher, the Coriolis on Toriano. It was a big show. The announcers talked about Aussie Open a lot during this. The match was not overwhelmingly spectacular or anything, but it was good. I would still recommend checking it out just to see Aussie Open and to see Hiroshi Tanahashi slap Gideon Gray. But anyway, it wasn't bad. Then we had the match that replaced the Hikuleo versus what's his name? Yeah, you know that WWE guy. Oh yeah, him. For the apparently the storyline is that Hikuleo asked New Japan not to strip him of the title because he wants to beat him for the title. Anyway, he beat this dude in 28 seconds. So it was they beat him down before the match for a little while, and then Hikuleo beat Yujiro Takahashi in 28 seconds with a choke slam. The match is completely skippable. But I'm going to say I didn't hate it because it was only 28 seconds, and then it was over. I'm like, yeah, and it showed Hikuleo still being this big badass. And okay, great. You did your job, match, but you can totally skip this match on the card. Then we got the New Japan TV Championship semifinals. Ren Narita versus SANADA. Pre-match, they did little promos from both guys. Ren Narita said he's bringing in a changing of the guard, which of course, for some fans in Japan, that always signals terror, right? I mean, you don't want to change the guard. That's how Kenny played a heel. It was I'm bringing change, and some people don't like that. But anyway, SANADA came on and said, listen, it's still my time, and this little kid is overstepping his bounds, essentially. So you got it set up. There's your story. One guy holding down, tradition and the, it's still my time versus the upstart, new young lion just returning over here from his excursion, right? So these guys went at each other. The early story was SANADA showing up Ren Narita. He just kept countering everything he did. He tied him up into a ball at one point. It was just crazy. Like he just out wrestled the guy completely. I didn't know SANADA was this good. Right, that's what surprised me. I'm like, holy crap, SANADA is really good too. Narita though fired up. They went back and forth trading near falls. This is another match because these have 15-minute time limits. This is another match that came down to the wire. Right. Under a minute left. Narita won again with the Narita special number 4. Really good match. Highly recommend this match. In case you didn't realize, we're probably also like when we get to my elite matches of the week, it's going to be
repeating some of these. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. This was really good. So now we have Ren Narita going to Wrestle Kingdom as one half of the match for the New Japan TV title.
Ooh.
Yes. So he's made it through to the finals.
I'm starting to think that maybe Tony Khan needs to adopt the 15 minutes matches and stuff like, because some people we don't need to see go on 20 minutes. And hey, you have a pay-per-view coming up that we don't really want to spend 7 hours watching, right? So
this was 4 hours. This was 4
hours is normal though. That's normal.
Yeah, it was fine. I didn't and it went by fast. I didn't even realize how fast it was going because all the matches were so good. Yeah, and so we've got half of that set up. You're right. A 15-minute championship would be a great idea in AEW. I mean, Stardom has it, the high-speed championship. New Japan now has it with the TV championship, and it's just like 15-minute time limits.
Yeah.
You go out, you don't win in 15 minutes. Too bad.
Yeah, too bad.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty great. Then we had Zack Sabre Jr. versus Evil. Now, when I went into this match, I was like, okay, he's fighting Evil. Evil is like just this dude who cheats, and there's a bit of comedy around. Like, he's Bullet Club, right? And he's like terrible Bullet Club. He's not going to win any awards for wrestling, but he's not like a terrible wrestler. He's still like decent. I was expecting a nothing match. I did not get a nothing match. Okay. I got a hell of an entertaining match, right? The cheating and the comedy in this match was all really well timed. Evil arrived dragging a young lion, Kosei Fujita, wearing a Zack Sabre Jr. jacket. So he had him in a headlock and just dragged him down the ramp and tossed him in the ring, right, and beat him up. Then Zack Sabre Jr.'s music hits, and there's another person on the stage with a hat that says, "I am also Zack Sabre Jr." And it's another young lion. So like Evil sends one of his guy, I think it was Dick Togo who ran, might have been Dick Togo. It was one of the two guys who came with him down to the ring anyway to run up and get the guy, right? It turned out to be Oiwa, another young lion. So there's like these two young lions, and they played a role in the match for Zack Sabre Jr. They were kind of helping him take care of the cheating outside. Anyway, so Dick Togo takes him down, and then the real Zack Sabre Jr. now ambushes Evil from behind, and that starts the match. So yeah, everything was well timed and entertaining. This was not going to be match of the year or anything, but there was spots like where Togo was underneath the ring, and he was supposed to stop Zack Sabre Jr. from getting back in, but he missed and he grabbed his own guy's leg instead and was hanging on to it. They're just like really silly spots, but all with good, because you have Zack Sabre Jr. in the ring too, right? So there was still good wrestling, and Evil managed to get the ref distracted. He low blows Zack Sabre Jr., but Zack Sabre Jr. kicked out and then tied him up in this insane looking pin for the 3. And the match was quick. It was like a 5-minute match, right? This did not go to the 15-minute time limit. It was fun. It was entertaining. I wasn't bored. And we've now got Zack Sabre Jr. versus Ren Narita for the TV championship.
Okay.
Yeah. This could go either way because Zack Sabre Jr. is the more established star. They like to put new championships on more established stars in New Japan, right? So there's a strong chance that Zack Sabre Jr. could win this, but it would be very interesting if Ren Narita got shot that far, that fast, and won the championship. So we will see.
Yeah, kind of makes sense putting it on Zack Sabre Jr., but why not put it on the kid, right? He's shooting up so fast. Why not, right?
Nope. Exactly. If I were booking it, I'd probably put it on Ren Narita just because the fans are so behind him right now. Unless you want him to have like a summer of chasing after it still and going after Zack Sabre Jr. Because let's face it, Zack Sabre Jr. would not be a terrible title holder for that title either with his skill. So anyway, the next match was another one I was like, do I really wanted like is this match going to be any good? It was the 4 challengers for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. So you already know these are like fast guys, right? But this was a random draw. The partners all hate each other. So what they did, they took the 4 guys and they drew randomly to see what team they would be on. Okay. And I'm like, okay, so here's the old tired trope. Partners that can't get along, right? And Hiromu, it was Master Wato and El Desperado were one team. So they hate each other. And Taiji Ishimori and Hiromu Takahashi were another team, and they hate each other. Hiromu named his team TTP, which stood for Team True Pals. This sounded like a total disaster. I mean, seriously, how will they ever coexist?
Yeah.
But, oh my God, this was so much fun. It really was. First, these are 4 great wrestlers in the ring. Like all 4 of them can go. The animosity was so well integrated into the match. I mean, Ishimori was refusing to tag or come in for double teams, completely refusing, like just going nowhere near him. So the opening story was Hiromu in a handicap match. But Ishimori was just hanging out cross-legged on the apron. I mean, if he'd had a cell phone, it would have been perfect. Hiromu was in a Cobra clutch, and then later on he actually dodged a hot tag. And it was pretty great. El Desperado tagged himself in then with a slap to Wato's face. The ref was allowing all of these kind of tags, like just he knew he wasn't going to get regular ones, so anything counted as a tag. So slap Wato's face after Wato had beaten down Hiromu for a while. And then he tagged out chopping Wato, and then he trash talked his partner going, oh yeah, let's see if you can get a win over Hiromu. Like go try. All right. And the Wato tagged out back to him with an elbow to the face. Hiromu managed to come back during that. He got a Hurricane Rana, taking out both of them with whips to the corner. Ishimori finally was like, okay, I'll tag in. And Hiromu came over and hit him with a kick, dropped him to the outside, threw into the rails, back in the ring, Falcon arrows the guy, and then covers him. He's like, see? It was pretty great. There was another great spot too where one at a time they each leapt out of the ring on the next guy. So the one guy did like a tope onto the next, and then the second guy dove on both of them, and then the third guy went off the top rope and dove on all 3 of them, and then all 4 of them were lying out. and they had to get back in the ring, and all four of them at exactly the same time beat the count in.
Oh,
It
wow,
was
okay.
it was a really cool spot. The finish came when Ishimori and Hiromu seemed to be working together at last. They were hitting these great double teams to El Desperado. And then Hiromu really took it to Wado. He sets him up, and suddenly Ishimori thrust kicks his own partner in the face. Wado rolls up Hiromu for the win, and Ishimori's laughing that like Wado is this guy who doesn't win matches, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's got skill, but he wins nothing. And then Ishimori is laughing at Hiromu, going, "You got pinned by Wado." So, and it was Wado's first. But Wado actually needed the win because he's the weakest of the four competitors going into the Wrestle Kingdom match between these four. So these four are having a fatal four-way for the title at Wrestle Kingdom. This match is highly recommended. The moves were nuts. I mean, it's the kind of match that you would enjoy from the speed and the matches and all that kind of stuff, like the counters and everything else and the storytelling, but add to it just the shenanigans between all the partners, which they pulled off so well. I would highly recommend this match. It was just great. And I went into it thinking this is going to be dumb. So that was a very pleasant surprise for me. Then we had Kazuchika Okada and Tama Tonga taking on Jay White and Kenta, who was out there with Gato. Hearing those names, here's a question for you. You hear those names. How hyped would you be to watch this match?
So Okada, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a so is Okada and who? Okada
Tama
and
Tonga.
Tama Tonga. All right. Well, I'm not a big fan of him. Jay White and Kenta. So okay, so I like about 50% of the people here, right? So I like Okada and Kenta. I like Jay White better than the other guy. So my hype level about 50%, I would say, for this match.
Okay. Yeah, and you're probably about where I was too, because I'm like, okay, there were lots of great moves by all four of these guys. Kento to me was the best performer in the match.
Yeah,
he had solid chemistry with both the guys. Tama Tonga won the match with a gun stun on Kenta. But I'll be honest, I was kind of bored. I don't know if it's just because I was watching so many other cool, entertaining matches. I mean, they all worked well, but then what it hit me. There was no story. This match had like zero story.
Yeah.
And that's problem because two of the people in this are the main event for Wrestle Kingdom.
I know.
Jay White and Okada. And I'm like, there was like no real, I mean, Kenta did half the work or more than half the work for his team in the ring. Okada was good. He's Okada. But I mean, he didn't stand out in any noticeable way. The one that stood out to me was Kenta because he did all the work. I just was like, where's the story here? I mean, I didn't care about Tama Tonga and Jay White at the previous events. I don't really care. And you know what the thing is too? Here's the thing. Here's a stat for you. And this is where we get to play a little bit of a fun game. See, Okada will win at Wrestle Kingdom because non-Japanese wrestlers don't often win in the main event at Wrestle Kingdom. I'm going to tell you something. I could only find one non-Japanese winner since they started running the January 4th event in 1992. And this is the event that got named Wrestle Kingdom in 2007. So they've been running the Dome on January 4th since 1992. Krishna, name the only guy, the only non-Japanese person to win in the main event at Wrestle Kingdom or on the January 4th Dome show.
It has to be Kenny Omega.
And you would be wrong. Kenny Omega has fought twice at the Dome in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom.
And he lost twice.
He lost to Hiroshi Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom 13, and he lost to Kazuchika Okada in Wrestle Kingdom 11.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yes. Chris Jericho was never in the main event.
So this would be a non-Japanese wrestler who goes to Japan and wins the main event at
the main event, the final match that goes on the stage.
Could this possibly be Will Ospreay?
It is not. Will Ospreay was beaten last year in the main event.
Every person I say it's it.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to give you 3 names.
Okay.
You can pick the name because it's one of these 3 guys. These are the only other 3 guys who have even been in the main event.
Okay.
At it. Okay. So Josh Barnett in
Mm-hmm.
2003,
Mm-hmm.
Scott Norton in
Mm-hmm.
1999, and Brock Lesnar in 2006.
Brock Lesnar went to New Japan
Yes.
in 2006. Oh,
Yes.
wow.
So which one of those
Norton.
guys? Scott Norton of NWO fame.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. NWO Scott Norton.
NWO
Wow.
Scott Norton. Remember, they had a deal with New
Yeah,
Japan back then.
yeah.
Scott Norton was fighting Keiji Muto. Josh Barnett was fighting Yuji Nagata. And Brock Lesnar was fighting. I don't have that
I'm gonna say, would they let Brock come in and win in 2006? They didn't really have a working relationship with WWE, and Brock would have been in and out of there at that time. I'm gonna say Norton.
You are wrong. It
Oh
is, in fact, Brock Lesnar.
my
No, he was actually fighting Shinsuke Nakamura
god. Well, I mean,
in the main event.
okay, I see that. But they let Brock win, eh? I
Yep.
guess Brock was that big back then too. Okay.
Well, it was also a time when New Japan was struggling through some stuff.
Mm,
All right.
okay.
This was around the time, I think it was around the time that was it Ukes that picked them up, or was this when Bushi Road took it over from Ukes? It was one of the two, but that's when it got changed to Wrestle Kingdom because oh, it must have been Ukes because Ukes had a video game called Wrestle Kingdom that was based
Oh,
on
there
New Japan.
you
So they're
go.
like,
So that's
we
Ukes.
want the
Yeah.
we want the biggest event of the year named after the video game. And since they owned the
This makes
company now,
sense.
they did. So that's how Wrestle Kingdom got its name. It's named after a video game, Wrestle
Makes
Kingdom.
sense.
So
Makes
yeah,
sense.
exactly. So you know that happened at a time when New Japan was struggling anyway, and this turned out to be not such a hot idea. And it wasn't until shortly after that that they actually began to build back up again out of kind of a hole that they had dug for themselves in the late 90s, early 2000s. So um, anyway, that was that match. It's if you like these wrestlers, it's watchable. I wouldn't recommend it, but it's watchable.
Yeah, I see.
Next on the card, we had FTR versus Jeff Cobb and Great Khan for the IWGP World Tag Team Championship. So another United Empire match. United Empire beat down Dax for a very long time in this match before a hot tag. Wasn't a bad match. Everyone worked well. FTR was the usual amazing selves. The end came when O'Khan broke up a big rig attempt, but then they soon just hit another one on him for 3. And I would recommend this match if you're FTR fans. Otherwise, it was okay. I
It's okay.
mean, Jeff Cobb and Great O'Connor are not my style of wrestlers, right? They're big guys. They can go. I don't hate them. It's just they're gonna slow the match down. Not like you'd have like really. Oh my! Did you see that the tweet Will Ospreay exchanged yesterday with some other
Braun, Stro-
wrestler?
Braun Strowman. Yeah.
No, it wasn't. Was that
Mm-hmm.
Braun Strowman?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. See, I was like some other wrestler, right? Where he was just like, "You guys had a great match. I mean,
Yeah, you're getting paid
congratulations.
for it.
Why
Yeah,
are you going on about flippy stuff?"
yeah. That not just nonsense,
Yeah.
flippy stuff. And I don't know if you saw the subsequent tweets after that, but guess who actually came to the defense of some of these the flippy wrestlers? Ali from WWE. That's his name, right? Ali? Mustafa Ali. That's his
Mustafa
name.
Ali.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And he actually said he's like he responded to Braun saying after he made those comments saying, "Oh, can you teach me how to get fired?" Because you know Braun Strowman was
Oh.
fired after.
Nice, nice.
Right?
Yeah, I like Osprey's response the best. It
Yeah,
was just it
he
was
was
so
it was
like you
nice.
had a good match. Why are you?
Congratulations.
Yeah.
You're getting paid for this. And yeah, exactly. He kind
Yeah.
of made and then the wrestler who we don't care about came back saying, "Oh, it was just a joke." Really?
No, it wasn't.
Really? It was definitely
No,
not a
because
joke.
he's doubled down on it today.
Oh, he's an idiot. Anyways,
Yeah, he
he's a
doubled down
moron.
on it by doing some stuff on a trampoline and then doing a flip from the trampoline and going, "Is this good now?" or something like that. It was just absolutely ridiculous. And people are now saying like, "This is Adam. Don't be like Adam. He's a dick."
Yeah, Adam Sherry. Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Yep, you're right.
Yep. So yeah. So basically, he's got a colossal chip on his shoulder, and he gets upset that people like Will Ospreay could wrestle him into the ground 5 ways from Sunday. So yeah, okay, that's fine. You guys go out there with your big man wrestling that we know the certain federation that you're in loves very much, and we'll just continue watching great wrestling. Thanks. You know what was next? Speaking of great wrestling. Speaking of Will Ospreay.
Whoa.
Will Ospreay versus Tetsuya Naito for the IWGP US Championship. Naito, they started at the beginning of this match saying he needed this win to cement his spot at Wrestle Kingdom, that he wasn't going to get there otherwise. And I'm like, uh-oh, because Naito is like the superstar in Japan right now.
Oh,
right?
wow. So
Yeah,
almost like a guaranteed win?
you would think so. I sent you the opening sequence of this
You
match.
did? I
I
watched
did.
it.
And
So I watched it and it's just more Will Ospreay, right? Which is an excellent thing. Like the like you know what at the end where they kind of like they both slide in and they almost do like I called it the band not the bandito what's his name when
Roosh.
Roosh when he
It's
posed
the
like that,
Roosh
right?
pose.
It's
Yeah.
the Roosh pose, right? And they're both just looking at each other. I'm like, wow, this is and it was the thing about it is it's so fast. You know what I mean? Like all the reversals, all the flippy flips, so stuff like that.
Yeah.
So fast. I couldn't like you. It's hard to even keep up with what they were doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, where they both like just slide in, I'm like, Will, you're so good. You're so
That
good,
was the
Will.
first 30 seconds of a
I know.
30-minute match. 30
30
minute
minute
match.
match.
30
Oh
minute
my
match.
God. Okay.
I'm going to go into a little more detail on this one. This was Ospreay's 30-second singles match of the year. Now, admittedly, for dudes doing house shows in the 80s, 32 matches was like a week or like,
Yeah,
whatever, right?
exactly.
Go look up Ospreay's 32 matches this year.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They're insane. This dude hasn't done 32, like, okay, I'm gonna go out for 5 minutes in a house show and like, throw a couple punches, maybe take a bump. He's done 32 Will Ospreay matches. If this dude doesn't get the number one wrestler spot this year, you're okay. You'll get an epic rant on here. I'll tell you that much. Anyway. So the story at this point though was Naito target. There's a funny spot at the beginning too because Ospreay makes fun of Naito being older, and Naito's like running and he just gasses instantly, and he's acting like he can't like move at all in the ring anymore. Yeah, it was pretty funny. The story is Naito though targeting the back and neck of Ospreay, going after old injuries and softening him up. When I say attack, I mean attack.
Attacking.
This wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna hit it a couple times. This was destroying Will Ospreay's neck. Okay. I mean, there was a combination cabron that ends in a kick to the back in the corner, neck breaker, running, hanging neck breaker. There was like a hanging neck breaker outside the ring on the rail. There was like double leg Nelson, where the more Ospreay had to pull to the ropes, the tighter the grip got on his neck, and he was like yelling as he's trying to get himself to the ropes. It looked so painful, right? Ospreay had to use his neck to stop a tornado DDT, like that kind of stuff, right? It was just shifting to use his legs more. Naito blocks the Oz cutter though, but like I said, with a rope hang neck breaker and then a hanging neck breaker to the floor. Ospreay looked dead. Naito threw him into the ring post, wrenches his neck on the guardrail. Ospreay reverses this into an Oz cutter on the floor, jumping from
Wow.
the top of the guardrail. The spot was absolutely nuts. I don't know how Ospreay balanced on the top of a shaking guardrail. Like they, in New Japan, they use
Mm-hmm.
just those steel rails you'd see like at
Yeah.
parade
Yeah.
sides, right? Yeah, he balanced on that and jumped off. Um, they both made it back into the ring and just lie there staring at each other, exhausted, and then started to exchange elbows from sitting. Ospreay finally got up yelling. Naito joins him. They go at it again. Naito beats Ospreay down. There was a series where he was doing short arm elbows, like he was pulling him out in a short arm
Yeah.
clothesline and then smashing his neck with his elbow. And he did this over and over. Ospreay would collapse. He'd pull him up and do it again, and Ospreay's down. He did it again, and Ospreay's down because he's softening him up for the Destino. He sets up for the Destino. Ospreay counters, but then the follow-up gets Naito lands a tornado DDT on an already like neck destroyed Ospreay. Naito takes Ospreay to the top and attempts a poison Rana. Ospreay lands on his
On
feet.
his feet.
Of course.
Yep.
Yeah.
I saw that one coming. I'm like, yep.
And an Oz cutter from 2/3 of the way across the freaking ring. I was like, holy heck. And then Ospreay lifts Naito on his shoulders, remember, with his messed up neck. So the announcers are going, what is he doing? Right. Gets him up onto the climbs the ropes, but he gets Hurricane Run off the top rope onto his already hurt neck. Um, but he manages to block the Destino and like the most beautiful, huge spinning Liger bomb. I mean, the way Ospreay does a Liger bomb is just insane for a 2 count. I mean, the hidden blade was countered to a roll up for 2, but Naito hot shot him into the corner, and Esperana and a Destino, but Ospreay kicks out. So Ospreay manages to lift him up for the Stormbreaker, but Naito then reverses this into a second Destino, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, this is it. Okay, nice try, Ospreay, but you've been beaten out. No, Ospreay kicked out. So I'm at this point, I'm going, are you kidding me right now? Ospreay reverses another Destino attempt into this like an elevated elbow smash, and then hits the hidden blade. But he's so wiped and so exhausted that after he hits the hidden blade, he's just lying there on the ground. Right, he can't cover him at all. Manages to get back to his feet and hits another hidden blade, and Naito kicks out. But finally, he lifts him up into the Stormbreaker, manages to hit it, and gets him for 3 around the 30-minute mark. And this match was freaking insane. I mean, this is a match of the year candidate. The timing from both these guys was impeccable. The moves, the kind of the story that was told in this match with like just destroying Ospreay's neck. Ospreay just kept coming back and coming back. I mean, the man is an established megastar at this point. It was just insane. And Naito, I mean, everything he did, perfectly timed, dead on. It was just everything they did in this match was just insane. This isn't just recommended. This is insanely recommended. This is an absolute must watch. Everybody needs to go see this match. As much as I talked about Ospreay and Umino a couple weeks back, everyone has to see this match. Insane. I think I've already given away my match of the week.
I was gonna say, and your wrestler of the week as well. Almost.
Yeah, I mean it's all yeah, pretty much yes. But post match, here you go. Aussie Open attended well. What I love about United Empires, they all come out in suits, like black tie, black suits.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Shirts. Yeah, they all look really, really official. So they were out there. Kyle Fletcher comes up to him and you hear him say to him, "You really are the greatest." And Will looks in the camera and he goes, "I am so fucking good." With a huge smile. Oh, and he gets up and he gets the mic, right? And he goes, "And this is how you make the United States Championship worthy." Orange Cassidy, David Finlay, and now Tetsuya Naito. Number 4. Oh, Naito, no Tokyo Dome for you, but my journey's still going. Oh, we have 2 to 3 weeks, the Stardom New Japan crossover show. So I'm going to issue an open challenge. Who's next? He waits. Nothing happens. He goes, "If you got Skype there, Zoom, anyone through the forbidden door, door's open."
Oh, wow.
He's just waiting. He goes, "Oh, no one is answering. I guess nobody wants to get in the ring with the best wrestler in the world." So he hands the mic off to Gideon Gray, who just says, "Chaos, LIJ. There's no one that does it night after night after night after night." And he goes on with a lot of after nights like us. "Thanks for coming." Confetti falls. They're all standing there. And then it goes dark. And music hits. And there's a video that just says, "Roughneck is coming." And it's Shota Umino who comes out because he is now officially returned from excursion. So this was his official return to Japan.
Okay.
And he comes out. He confronts Ospreay in the ring. Gets a mic, but instead of saying anything, he just decks Ospreay, beats down Gideon, takes down Ospreay with a Death Rider because he is, that's where he's got the Rough Rider.
Yeah,
he's
Mox,
Mox a student. And then Umino bails as the rest of United Empire hits the ring. So we're going to get the rematch from Royal Quest on November the 20th. Shota Umino taking on Will Ospreay, this time for the title.
Interesting. I like that little comment about the forbidden door. Anyone can walk through and stuff like that. Yeah, they're just biding their time. Like I actually hope Will Ospreay wins Wrestler of the Year. It's just going to fuel the story. It's going to be a perfect story. Like, this is what I need. This is what the Kenny Omega Will Ospreay story has built, and it's built. And you know what? Unfortunately, there was some stuff that happened that couldn't build it further. But seeing how things are clearing up now, it looks like good things are on the horizon. I don't see I want United Empire to start winning everything. All the belts, everything, and then come challenge the best in the world, right? So, it's funny because I was on AEW's YouTube channel this week.
Yep.
And did you notice that there's a video on the YouTube channel, and the video is titled "Did the Death Triangle delete the Elite?" And I was like, that's a weird video. It's obviously the video that they showed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of the person deleting the videos, and I'm like, but they acknowledged it. It's
Right.
literally on their YouTube channel, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it
Yep.
says, yeah, did the Death Triangle delete the Elite? And then the other one
Mm-hmm.
is all will suffer from the House of Black. So I'm
Right.
like, they're fully acknowledging it.
Yes.
Good things are happening.
Yes, very much so.
This week's Dynamite is, I don't know, Bill. Things are gonna
Yep.
happen this week. It
Oh,
has to,
things have to happen this week. Things have to
because
happen. I
because
mean,
we have a pay-per-view we're watching on
mhm.
Saturday. So I mean, things
Well,
have to
two
happen.
Saturdays.
What day is it? 20.
It's the night the pay-per-view's on the 19th. I was wrong last week when I said 2 weeks.
Oh, why am I? So then I'm wrong. I thought, you know what? There's a week in between that you're told. No, you're totally right. It is the
Yep.
19th.
It's the
I thought it
19th.
was this weekend.
Yeah.
It's next. Okay.
That weekend is going to be insane. Because I mean,
It's
we have the Smash Wrestling show that we're going to. For those of you who don't know, we are
mm-hmm.
going to be attending live at the Smash Wrestling show in Toronto, down at the Rec Room, and they are showing the pay-per-view right after the show in the Rec Room. So we will be attending that as well. We will give you a full report of the Smash show and the pay-per-view, of course, after that. And then November 20th, we have the historic New Japan and Stardom crossover show, which of course means I'm
Ooh,
just going to be basically doing nothing except wrestling all weekend that
all
weekend.
weekend. Hey,
Yes.
sounds like a good weekend. But
Yeah.
no, I mean, Will Ospreay, back to Will. Like, I mean, he's proven. Like, you remember, I told you, like, when the first time I saw him, when he came into AEW, the
Mm-hmm.
first match, I was like, this guy is amazing. He's now my second favorite wrestler, like,
Mm-hmm.
ever, right?
Right.
So I'm excited. I this is good. This is all good news. So
Yes. Oh,
and
absolutely.
and I don't know if you heard recent, but there has been a Nick Jackson sighting. He showed up at a basketball game yesterday and was throwing t-shirts out to the crowd. So interestingly, the Elite have suddenly showed up in places
Well,
now.
yeah, they're obviously coming back, so
Yeah, yeah,
they'll
yeah.
start showing out. They'll be dropping little stuff. That'll be good. I'm
So
not
two
going to
weeks, okay.
guarantee any more elite appearances.
Oh,
Because
but
every time I guarantee,
something
I'm
needs to
wrong.
happen. Something
Yeah,
needs to happen soon, right? Because you
yeah.
figure that you
There's two
have to start
dynamites.
building
Yep,
two dynamites. So,
yep,
all right, okay,
exactly.
all right.
We have two dynamites for the House of Black to destroy Death Triangle. What?
I agree. I agree with
Yes.
that.
Well, as we know more on Will Ospreay, this means that we do have at the card, which is now set for Stardom New Japan Historic Crossover on November 20th. That's what it's
Mhm.
actually called, Historic Crossover.
Historic, okay.
Yes. Will Ospreay will be defending the IWGP United States Championship against Shota Umino. There are three other matches I think look quite interesting. We have the IWGP Women's Championship match, which is actually main eventing the show. So Will is not main eventing the show. The main event is the IWGP Women's Championship match between Mayu Iwatani and Kairi.
Oh, you know
Yes,
what?
which is
Good on you, New Japan. Put them in the main event.
Well, yes, because they're also phenomenal wrestlers.
There you go.
And then we also have a very interesting multi-gender match, male-female
Um,
mix match. I'm not sure what to call these. Natsupoi, Tom Nakano, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Taichi versus El Desperado, Dookie, Starlight Kid, and Momo Watanabe. So that will be very interesting. I'm not quite
okay,
sure what the rules are going to be for that, but man, all of those wrestlers are good.
awesome.
But even better, we get Tom Lawler
Mm-hmm.
and Shuri taking on Zack Sabre Jr., tagging with Julia.
Yo, Zack Sabre Jr. is amazing. So him with your girl Julia, I guess that's the team you're cheering for, right?
Oh yeah, obviously. But they're taking on Shuri, who is, as we know, the number one female wrestler in the world right now.
Oh yes, is it Shuri or Sayuri? Because
Shuri.
that's why. Okay, maybe I'm saying it wrong then. Never mind.
And I'm probably glossing the Y too much into an SH. It's
Okay,
Shuri. So
okay.
sometimes it comes out
That's
Shuri
why
from
I thought you said
Shuri.
Shuri. I'm like,
No, it's
from Black
Shuri.
Panther. I'm
No,
like,
Shuri from Black Panther. No, it's Shuri, and she's teaming with Filthy Tom Lawler, who's a pretty solid wrestler. So
interesting. Okay,
yeah, he
okay.
apparently had a match. I unfortunately, due to watching all of the Stardom content, have not had a chance to check out against Tomohiro Ishii. That was extremely good, but I have not had a chance to check that match out.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but Yeah, so those are the four matches I'm really, there's a bunch of other matches on this card, but those are the four I'm really interested in and wanted to highlight for all of you, including you. So there you
Nice,
go.
nice, nice, nice.
And finally, last piece of New Japan news, we have the bracket set for the New Japan Pro Wrestling Tag League, both in the standard and junior tag divisions. Of note, we have, let's see, Aussie Open is, of course, in it. We've got TMDK in the main roster as well. It's Shane Haste and Mikey Nichols. They're an extremely fast, excellent tag team. We have Tetsuya Naito and SANADA representing Los Ingobernables de Japan. And of course, the defending champions were Bishamon, which is Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi, which I call. I'm pretty sure that's what Bishamon means in Japanese. Anyway, the junior division, which I call the Krishna weight division, features Catch 22 with Francisco Akira and TJP. Leo Rush is in this tournament representing Chaos. Yep. Bushi and Titan are representing LIJ. We've got, let's see who else on here. L. Lindemann is teaming with Alex Zane.
Man, I haven't heard that name in such a long time. That's OWE, right? Wrestler.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. Remember when we went to the show? We're like, there's this guy just walking around his wrestling gear. Yeah. Right. And I was like, and it ended up being El Lindemann. I was like, oh, that's who he is.
Yeah, that's El Lindemann. Yeah, well, he's in this with Alex Zane, the pink-haired guy that it's actually quite good. And I look forward to seeing them as well. The junior tag division is going to be insane this year. There's so many good teams. I can't wait to watch it. I will be reporting back on as many of the good matches as I can as it goes on over the next few months. Fair enough. So quick Stardom update. The Goddess of Stardom Tag League has started. There's no clear top team in either bracket yet. There's been some decent matches. There's two teams I'm watching that I'm really liking beyond the ones I'm guaranteed to like. The Julia Tekla team, for example. Azumi and Miyu Amasaki is a very interesting team. Miyu is this is her first year wrestling. She debuted in March, so she's only been wrestling for a few months, and she's being paired with someone who's been wrestling for 9 years, Azumi. Azumi is 20 years old.
She's been wrestling for 9 years, you said?
Yes.
And she's 20 years old.
She's 20. You are correct, sir.
Like what? So, okay. So, okay. But if you're 11, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, what are you wrestling exactly? Is it like just they're getting you into fitness and stuff like that? And maybe showing, like, what are you wrestling exactly?
In some cases, I think they're wrestling matches, right? I mean, the whole reason Kenny Omega wrestled
the little girl, yeah.
The little girl is because she was left off the show. She was one of the few wrestlers that didn't make the show. Now, admittedly, they're not bringing in girls that young anymore.
No,
right?
No,
I mean, that practice was ended fairly recently, but I mean, fairly recently, right? But Azumi is really good. I guess, when you've wrestled since age 11 and that's all you've basically done for those 9 years, you're really good. But anyway, like they make an interesting tag team because you can tell it's going to be her trying to prop up this new rookie, and it creates an interesting dynamic. I actually really enjoyed their match with Koguma and Hazuki, who are both veterans on the Stars side, and they were really good. Lots of good double teams. You can tell they're a veteran tag team, right? They worked really well together. But anyway, so that's just some highlights that I'm keeping an eye on from that. Do you have anything for the dirt sheet for me this week?
Well, only one thing, and this came up in something I was watching the other day. So again, another episode of Dhanai's dirt sheet here.
Yes.
So rumors have come out about the list of people, and again, these are rumors, so really you can't really confirm or deny anything. The list of people who actually contacted WWE, basically to see if there was any availability for them to return. Now, some of the names make sense. Some of them you're like kind of like, okay, I can see it, but some of them you're like, okay, well, who knows, right? So one of the names that came up was Miro, right? So Miro, I kind of thought about it. I'm like, okay, well, Miro, his push in AEW has been nothing, but I don't blame AEW for that. That could just be Miro himself, right? Because he's been away for a while. The other inquiry that was made was not Miro. I was gonna say Miro again. Malachi Black. Now we know that I think Dave Meltzer had reported something on this as well, that he had thought he'd heard that Malachi wanted to go over to WWE. But remember, Dave went back and said, you know what, after Malachi came out and said that was not the case, he said, okay, I retract my statement, right? The last people, and this was the one that kind of like, I was like, huh? But I guess it makes sense. FTR, the revival. And that's the one where I was like, FTR, right? The only thing I could think of was maybe the booking. They haven't they like we discussed this a lot. The fact that why aren't they on TV more often because they're so awesome, right? But then they have the IWGP belt, they have the AAA belts, they have like all these belts, right? So
which they have to go defend.
Yeah, right. So I get it, but it's almost that these guys are top, no pun intended, top guys, right? Top guys. So odd. It's just odd, right? So
yep.
What are your thoughts on this?
My thoughts are Miro probably contacted them. Now again, these are, I want to stress, what we do in Dhanai's dirt sheet is we look at these things and we try to see, is it factual or not?
Yeah.
None of these are factual because we have not had Miro come out and say he's contacted. We have not had WWE say, hey, we've decided to bring him back. There's no announcement of him changing. There's nothing. These are sheerly hearsay rumors, every single one of these. So that means I'll play a game of, is it more likely or not? Miro, I could totally see him because he has expressed discontent. His wife has expressed discontent. He's not a happy camper. He probably thinks the grass would be greener where he doesn't need to care if he can wrestle well or not because they don't care if he can wrestle well or not. They'll put anyone in a ring in WWE. I mean, look, Omos is a wrestler there, right? Hey, they'll put anyone in a ring. Not to say they also won't have some good people in the ring. There are some good wrestlers over there. Or should I say good sports entertainers. But anyway, in AEW though, and this is something I think Tony Khan really needs to keep his eye on, and I've said this before, AEW is built kind of like New Japan on the quality of the matches. We want quality wrestling. Everything else is gravy. Yeah, I want good stories. I want good backstage segments. I want stuff I can laugh at. I want entertainment. But it's about the wrestling, right? Miro, goodbye. I don't care. You are the Bray Wyatt of AEW.
You're right. He really is the
wonderful promos. You get us all hyped up. It's just great. You get in the ring and I'm like, huh? Oh. Why are you challenging Malachi Black?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Fair enough.
FTR, give me a break.
Right?
Like there's no way. One, they can wrestle any style they want in AEW against anyone they want. They have been given they're allowed to travel the world working for AEW. They've gone to England. They've gone to Japan. They've gone to Mexico. They are on like a tour de force around the world, putting on the best tag team matches this year because the Young Bucks have been on hiatus for large.
Exactly.
Putting on the best and Aussie Open's just coming up. Putting on the best matches of tag teams this year until Wrestle Kingdom when they get beaten by Aussie Open. Sorry. Oh, guys, we really do this podcast for you, though occasionally we do just amuse ourselves. The point being, no, there's not a chance FTR contacted WW. Not a chance. If they did, they were like, hey, Triple H, have you actually decided to have a tag team division yet? No? Okay. Well, we just thought we might come there and add those belts to our collection. Are you open to us bringing them to the AEW? We're kind of collecting tag belts, right? You don't really use them. We could make better use of them than you.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Exactly. That made sense.
That
was the one that was hard for me to believe, right? It's kind of they left it such a sour note that why would you ever go back?
Well, exactly. It's like, in all honesty, it is completely, in my mind, it's completely and utterly ridiculous. Why would you do that? Why?
Yeah.
Anyway, so moving on then, we have to follow up Dhanai's dirt sheet. I have random questions for Krishna.
All right.
I have 2 of them for you this week.
All right, let's hear them.
Did you see Toni Storm's Texas? Okay, this one has a follow-up question. Did you see Toni Storm's Texas Cloverleaf on Rampage to Jamie Hayter?
I did.
Yes.
Jamie Hayter?
Yes.
No, I saw it on Dark.
Right, not the one she did in a match, the one she did on the run out.
Oh, no, I didn't see it.
Okay, because, she's facing Jamie Hayter at Full Gear. Oh, Toni. If you're going to use the Texas clover leaf, please don't slip out of it
Oh no.
while you're applying it and have her just lying on the ground while you have it. The announcer's trying to cover for you as you desperately try to get it actually hooked in, and Jamie Hayter's supposed to be lying there in agony, and really there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know anymore.
yeah. Um,
She has to
so
win.
the follow-up question is, what are your hopes for this match at Full Gear?
I hope they push Hater. I hope they let her win the belt, but for some reason, I have a feeling that they don't want her to win the belt because they want a Thunder Rosa versus Toni Storm kind of like unification match or whatever. I'm so sick of these
Mm-hmm.
things. Tony, listen, if people get injured, just take the belt off of them and give it
Right.
to and have a tournament and let the person win it. Who cares?
I
Right?
really think that the people who book New Japan, who are not perfect at booking, but they should really have a talk with Tony Khan and be like,
Yeah.
listen, although they didn't take the belt off Carl Anderson and they really should have. But other than
Yeah.
that, they have a pretty big policy of if someone gets injured, sorry. I mean, they stripped John Moxley of the U.S. title, so I mean, it's
But okay,
if
but and my second thought on this match,
yeah.
what happens if you actually or because I have some thoughts on this and I'm confused with it because let's say Jamie Hayter wins the match because they want
Mm-hmm.
to go down the Jamie versus Britt because Britt can't fathom the fact that someone else has the belt but her. I would
Right.
love that angle, but that means you totally bury any type of momentum from Tony Storm, right? And that's my
Mm-hmm.
fear is the fact that they do that. That's what they're gonna take away all the momentum. Because I'm sorry, she's the only reason she has momentum right now is because she has the belt,
Right.
right?
Right.
So as Tony Khan, do you let Jamie win the belt or do you still have the Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm thing, but have Britt be the one that costs Hater the championship, right? I
Right.
kind of feel the smart booking is the latter, right? You have them doing that
For
because
sure.
those two don't need the belts on them to
Right.
be popular.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be nice if they had the belts on them, you know?
Indeed. Indeed. Yeah. It would help. The
But the match itself,
mhm.
I'm worried about this match.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
I'm
have very
just
low hopes for it. It's
oh,
there's all kinds of scenarios coming out, and it'll be interesting to see what they do. But
mm-hmm.
man, man. Speaking of matches though that have been kind of added, you catch Jericho's promo on Rampage.
The one where he said, what did he say? What was he
Mhm.
saying? I did catch it. What that? Can you remind me again, please?
Yes,
It
he picked.
was
He said he's gonna. Why would he have to pick between Danielson and Castagnoli
yes,
for
the
the match? So
poor
he's
man,
picking both of them, and now he's added Sammy Guevara in a
Sammy.
four-way now for the ROH title.
That's gonna be a really good match.
Yes.
That's gonna be an exceptional match because I thought about that and I was like, when he like they kind of put it like, who are you gonna choose,
Hmm.
Danielson or Castagnoli? He's like, I choose him,
Yep.
and I also choose him,
Yes.
but I'm throwing Sammy in, and I'm like, this is a good match. And I love the fact where he says to Sammy, "But Sammy, you know what to do when we're left in the ring."
Yep.
Sammy's like, "Maybe I will, maybe I won't."
Yeah, I
But
know.
what if Sammy wins the belt? Right?
Hmm.
I don't think he is, but like, what if? Right?
Yeah,
Like that.
exactly.
It's just it's. Listen, regardless who wins this belt, that's going to be a fantastic match. I think it's going to be a fun match because you have all these different styles. You have Sammy, who's absolutely insane. You
Yep.
have Danielson, who's so technical. You have again Cassidy, who's like after last week or two
Hmm.
weeks ago, where he just ran roughshod on everyone and took over that match. I was like, wow. And then Jericho, just
Yes,
Jericho. Like this
exactly.
guy is so good. Like I mean, honestly, that's gonna be a fantastic match. So yeah, when I heard that, I was like, yes, yeah.
I know, right?
So
It
so
just
yeah,
it yeah, I heard that too. I was just like, okay, this is gonna be awesome. This
yep.
is great. This is great. Okay. Well, that brings us then to our elite matches of the week. I have already discussed two of mine, which were Ren Narita versus Sanada and Master Wato and El Desperado versus Taiji Shimori and Hiromu Takahashi. I'll quickly run through my third and then turn this bad boy over to Krishna
All
for
right.
his. My third is, and this might shock you, Dante
Mm.
Martin versus Brandon Cutler on Dark Elevation from October 31st. The reason being, can we appreciate for a minute how good Brandon Cutler is? He changed his whole move set for his current gimmick. He stumbles into the rope to accidentally knock Martin off of it. He makes his moves look lame. Like, honestly, these jumping forearms he does that just look like he's like barely jumping on the guy, and he's like a terrible wrestler when we're talking about a guy that can do a springboard elbow drop halfway across the ring. His dancing moves, his dab elbow drop, and other dancing elbow drops. I mean, he's utterly, utterly ridiculous in the ring, and it just shows his genius facing a guy like Dante Martin. The fact that he can change up his moveset to look that utterly ridiculous when you know darn right well how good this guy is, that's why I'm saying this is a match that, if you have some time, check it out. Sheerly to watch what Brandon Cutler can do in that style.
Yeah, I do not disagree, because that was the number 3 match that I chose for this week. Was
nice.
was Brandon Cutler versus Dante Martin, and just for that, because his comedy delivery and his gimmicks and everything, it's so fun. I couldn't, like, the fact that the announcers like Paul White and Daddy Magic and stuff like that, they couldn't stop laughing just because of what he was doing. Like, they had to admit it. They're like, this is entertaining. Even Tony Schiavone was like, this is a very entertaining match, and it is. Yes. Like, you know what, sports entertainment aside, it was so funny, and just watching Dante Martin's amazing. Like, honestly, I actually had like shout outs for this week. I actually had Dante Martin versus Encore on Dark, was it?
Yeah.
This Encore guy was really fast too,
yes,
right? And
I
was like, this was a really, really good match. So I actually had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I had like 5 matches that I had, like, I was gonna recommend some and say, hey, you know, if you have a chance, check these other ones out too. But, like, agreed, Dante versus Cutler, and I'm gonna give the credit, honestly, fully to Cutler. We've seen Dante Martin. He's twice on my list right now with Dante Martin, but it was Cutler who really put it over the top for me, and I loved every second of this match. It was so good. I think this is like the second time in like 3 weeks I've said Brandon Cutler in a match, because he's just so friggin' hilarious, right?
Yep.
So I mean, so hey, listen, I know you love Brandon Cutler, but he's growing on me, and this gimmick, I'm so glad he still has it, because it's exactly part of the whole elite gimmick too, right? So I'm glad that he still has that. So I agree with you. Brandon Cutler and Dante Martin, that was my number 3 pick. My number 2, because I'm looking at the list, because I want to pick one. Okay, I want to give a quick shout out to Madison Rayne and Diamante. I don't know if you caught the match. I was on Elevation, but when you watch that match, and Madison Rayne and Diamante, you realize, wow, these are two female wrestlers who can wrestle properly. Because it was simple. It wasn't like, oh, I'm botching move after move. It was clean, because Madison Rayne is a coach right now. Yep. And her pin, holy crap, the pin was insane. I was like, what the hell, right? So quick shout out to her. Also, I don't know if you saw, well, I said Dante and Encore, so check that one out. Yep. I don't know if you saw the Athena versus Yanni Kai match.
No, I missed that one.
Okay, so Athena has this she's very aggressive in the ring, and I think this is feeding off what happened, the whole thing.
No, I did see this match. I did see this. This is the one who had like the black outfit and the interesting.
Yes, hair, the martial artist, the girl, right?
Yeah, I did see this.
It was hard hitting. I was like really impressed, and I'm like, you know, Athena is really good. Bill was right. That move she did off the top rope, I thought she botched it, but what it was is it's a cutter that she catches you off the top. I was like, holy crap, what the hell? It looked. I'm like, that looks painful. So shout out to Athena and Yanni Kai. I actually watched the move and was like, ouch, that hurts. My second match. I give my third one. My second match that I'm choosing my second match of the week is Orange Cassidy versus Katsuyori Shibata. I think I enjoyed this match more than you did. I really did, because
you might have, but I was spoiled having watched I watched the Battle Autumn before I watched that match.
That fair enough, because I was listening to the story, and I searched as before the match started. I searched what happened to Shibata, and when I read it, I was like, oh, and this guy is back right now. Yeah. And I love the fact that the commentators kept playing it up, but the fact that they were hitting each other, and I love the fact that Shibata wasn't backing out. I think was it the one spot where Cassidy gets him in the orange punch or the beach break, and he gets up and just clotheslines him. I was like, holy
Yes.
crap, right?
Yeah, I love
It was
stuff like that.
it was
Yeah.
so good. And just knowing what this guy has gone through to get back, I was like, bravo, bravo,
Hmm.
right? And the
Absolutely.
little like, the little like the sportsmanship at the ending, I like that. So number two, go ahead and watch that match. But my match of the week, and of course you this probably I'm not shouldn't be surprise you, um, was Ray Phoenix versus AR Fox on Dark. This match, I always tell you, never bet against Ray Phoenix.
Hmm.
This guy's awesome. Like, you remember the triple threat match we talked about on Dynamite last week, and we're like, it was good, but
Hmm.
we've seen better from Ray
Yeah.
Phoenix. Well, this guy, whoever his name, AR Fox, he's great as well. Like, some of the and him and Phoenix were hitting each other, high flying moves, like my luchador wrestling that I love so much.
Hmm.
It was fun. It was fast. Like AR Fox, who I think is supposed to be like some play on Metal Gear Solid Snake, I think, but I don't know. I'm just because his name is AR, and Fox is the kind of thing that it's anyways for Metal Gear. Anyways, who cares? But I enjoyed this match. You know why? Because it was fun.
Yeah.
It had a big smile across my face. Again, it's like when I watched Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega fight. Like, let's be real here. These are my matches, right?
Yeah.
And it was fun. Like at the end, Ray beat him, obviously, because who knows who
Hmm.
AR Fox is. And he kind of shook his hand. He actually raised his hand, and he's like, I guess because it was his first time in AEW.
Right.
This guy was really, really good. Like, I really enjoyed this match. So that was my match of the week, actually, to
Nice.
check out. So
Okay.
there you go.
So
Yeah.
not only your best recommendation, but also
Match of the
your
week.
match of the week.
Match of the week.
Nice. And we all know exactly what my match of the week is
We know.
already. Will Ospreay versus Tetsuya Naito from Battle
Mhm.
Autumn 2022. And that brings us to our wrestler of the week. Again, we already know mine. It's
Will
Will
Ospreay.
Ospreay, and
Fair enough.
anytime he wrestles, he'll probably be my wrestler of the week. So,
Yeah. Fair
yeah,
enough.
okay. So,
Uh, yeah, I would say for me, even though I gave Phoenix and AR Fox the top billing as like the
mhm,
match of the week, I'm still gonna give it to Shibata. I think just for what he has come back from and the way he wrestled, it almost like he didn't even lose a step. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So
he's
it
phenomenal.
it was
Yeah,
impressive, and I was like, dude,
yeah,
like bravo, like welcome back.
yeah.
I mean, like from what I'm seeing, like this is you're really good, and just the hard hits, holy
Hmm.
crap. But yeah, my wrestler of the
Well,
week is
I told
Shibata.
you, I'm on my excursion in Japan. I am falling in love with Japanese wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Like seriously, I love it so much. I love the style. I love the strong style stuff. I love the various styles you get out there. I love the attitudes in the ring. I love how much the storytelling is devoted to the ring. So yeah, Katsuyori Shibata, one of the new Three Musketeers with Hiroshi
Yep.
Tanahashi and
Yep.
Shinsuke Nakamura. That's some privileged company, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can totally see picking him as a wrestler of the week too.
He
That was a solid showing.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I do think you probably enjoyed that match more than I
I
did, but
did. I really
but I
did.
also enjoyed it. It's not like I didn't
Yeah.
enjoy it. I think I was just, coming down off the Will Ospreay Tetsuya Naito high, and when you see a match of the
Fair
year,
enough.
anything after it doesn't look quite as good.
Fair enough.
Yep. Anyway, well, that is our news. That is our matches. That is our wrestlers. And that about wraps us up for this time. So, as the great one always says, goodbye, everybody. Good night. And Will Ospreay is fucking amazing.
Kenny Omega rocks. Night, guys.